So what I want to show you today is how to use contrast to add richness and depth to rather flat looking photos. So we're in Photoscape X and we've got this picture from BC which looks a little dull, and so I'm going to bring out some of the colors in that. So we're going to go into color. And I'm not going to saturate, I'm not going to change the tone of the color, temperature, I'm not going to change tint, I'm not going to do anything like that. I'm just going to use the contrast button. Now before we do that, I'd like you to notice that this histogram has appeared. I always have it turned on. And if if it's not turned on, you just click this little arrow here to put it on. And the histogram is really just a distribution of the pixels in your photo, with the pure black pixels being on the left side and the pure white pixels being on the right side. So for most shots, it's nice to kind of have a distribution, a balance of the pixels across the spectrum of shades from very dark to very light. Not always, but in many instances, especially with a landscape like this. But you can see in this photo that there is no pure black or pure white. It's all kind of clustered in the center of midtones here, and that's why it appears so dull and flat. So what we want to do is get some pure black and pure white into the photo, and I'm going to do that with the contrast button. So I'm just going to drag this to the right, going to let go, and a little bit more here, and you can see, I'll put the compare button on here. You can see it's already made a big difference to this photo, because now based on the histogram you can see I've got some information, some black on the left, and I've got some pixels on the right. So it's a very handy tool to have for when things come out of your camera not as deep and rich as you remembered. So I'm just going to show another example here. Now here's one. It looks okay, nothing special, but as soon as I bring out, I'm going to go back into color, and as soon as I bring out the contrast a bit, it all of a sudden richens. I didn't saturate, they're the original colors, but all of a sudden now, and you can see by the histogram now, I have a lot of dark on the left, so in this instance I wouldn't try and even it out. I think it looks fine with the rich dark colors. And so again, your before and your after, a much nicer photo. So one more here. So here's another instance where it looks kind of dull, but that's not how I remembered it. This is more how I remembered it, all the golden fall colors. Now we have a long line going up on the left there of black, and that's probably the black areas at the base of the trees here, so you could adjust that if you wanted. The other thing you can do with contrast is you can see in this instance there's way more on the left and not that much on the right of the white. You can add, if you find it's unbalanced, you can click on this more button and you can add by dragging the white over, and you can see the histogram shifted over to the right, and now you have more pixels of pure white in your photo, and that's a good way of balancing things as well and making sure you have a good distribution across the spectrum. Okay, that's it for today. Thanks for listening.